people are really afraid, and I feel like you have to understand that it's not just because people are lazy or just like afraid of some whim, you know, it's an actual threat to life.
Breathe. Relax.
My name is Anton. I am from Russia, Russian Federation. I was originally born in Moscow. I am 18 years old. My earliest memories are of course all related to my hometown because most of my childhood I spent in there. Just me playing with my friends on the playground I had in my dacha, which is like basically a country house you go to in the summer. And this might be when I was like 2 years old or something. And I remember me running after him, and basically we just were running around the ponds and playing together. How do you feel about the United States? All my life I've spent in Russia. Even though I've traveled a lot, I've traveled to the US several times, and when I was here as just a tourist, I've been to many different states, and I really enjoyed like the variety and just the like sometimes overwhelming diversity of the things that there just is in America. And I want to say that like an interesting thing that I noticed, I've grown more even though I'm further apart from my homeland, I've kind of grown closer to some of the cultural aspects that maybe America may not have, but Russia does. And I've grown to like actually value the things that in Russia we take for granted, but in America they're kind of exclusive to Russian people in a way. Maybe it's like some features of the mentality. Maybe it's like just some small cultural things, you know, like drinking tea instead of just like coffee, which is more popular here, drinking hot tea. And then when I meet my friends, my Russian friends, and we drink tea with some candies from Russia, I really enjoy this, even though I would never have thought I would when I was back in Russia. Did your parents teach you anything about how you'll be perceived? But I feel like I was pleasantly surprised by how I was actually perceived by people, for example, here in the university. And I personally have never experienced any like negative sentiments toward me just because I was Russian. Do you believe people who stay silent about Putin's actions are complicit in the war? Russia unfortunately does have a very, very oppressive regime towards any people who want to speak up against the government, and this is what like some people from the West, and America in particular, may not understand, but like in Russia, to get a protest going like in any shape or form is basically risking your own life almost. Like it's borderline that. And that is why like speaking up in America and speaking up even like against the government in the United States are two very different things, and I do not think that the actions of Russian people should be measured by how like an American would respond to that. Just because I feel like the paradigm of like speaking up to the government is absolutely different in our countries, and that's why I feel I respect a lot those people who have the guts to actually like stand up and speak up and say that yes, I defy Putin's actions, and especially those people who are not famous, who do not have any like protection, you know, have anything to fall back on to go out of the country. They just go into the streets, they get taken away by the police, they get held in the prisons, but they still speak up. I respect those people. But I feel like the sentiment that Russian people is not speaking up, this means a Russian person is bad. I do not feel that this sentiment wholly applies here, just because of the specificities of this really, really strong authoritative regime that really like it really sparks strong fear in people, and people are really afraid. And I feel like you have to understand that it's not just because people are lazy or just like afraid of some whim, you know, it's an actual threat to life. What are your thoughts on Vladimir Putin? Vladimir Putin has been like a staple of my life for the whole duration of it. I've been born under Putin, and I'm still living under Putin for like 18 years, as I said. And Putin has kind of been a given to me. I've never really like questioned whether you know, something might be different. Of course, I've questioned if something might be different, but I've never really thought it might become a reality one day, unfortunately. The most dangerous thing about Putin is that he made Russian people think that he is a given in our country. That Russian people, except like the brave few, are even afraid to question they've kind of made their peace with it. And if you make your peace with living your whole life under basically a dictator at this point, who is okay to like attack a neighbor country, and not only that, just attack his own people like in the streets, actually like bring army onto them. I feel like this is one of the most dangerous things that you can make peace with, and unfortunately many of the Russian people have. But again, this is not because they are just like scared people and timid and they're afraid to speak up. That's just because Putin has been at power so efficiently in terms of like keeping the power and keeping the fear in people's minds that he is now basically gaining the benefits, and people are scared of him, and that's what he wants. There are some Ukrainian people who might not feel comfortable associating with Russian people. How does that make you feel? The question about the relationships between Ukrainian people and Russian people are like a very touchy subject nowadays, of course, because like I don't know if I think many of you guys are aware of the fact that Ukraine and Russia are considered in both countries like brother nations, and they have been so for a long time. And it has nothing to do with the fact that like some people think that it is one nation. It is not, but they are brother nations, and we have a huge border between ourselves. Like we are united by it, and we have many similarities. We have many differences, and I've always loved like all Ukrainian people that I met. I've been to Ukraine in my life, and I've enjoyed my time there, and therefore it does hurt me in a way that now there is kind of this very like sharp barrier between that disallows communication between Ukrainian and Russian people. But like putting myself in the shoes of Ukrainian people, which is actually hard to do, really, even though I know many of them, I really understand the sentiment. Like I understand that if you have basically if you have a person who may or may not agree with with the stuff that the government does, the policies of the government, they're still to you, I'm sure, represents this country in a way, and they have in themselves kind of a piece of that country. And I would myself probably, if the situation was reversed, I would probably not want to talk to those people as well, perhaps. So I do not have any whatsoever conflicts with that idea of like Ukrainians not wanting to maybe engage with the Russians as much.
So you remember this video was originally supposed to be a discussion between you and the Ukrainian international student.
Yeah.
That Ukrainian student ended up telling us that she didn't feel comfortable speaking to a Russian person. Mm-hmm. And I told you this, okay?
Yeah, it did. The fact that like this girl did not want to engage with me in a conversation, it did hurt a little, because like I'm gonna be honest with you. First of all, I was looking forward to that, because I'm always looking forward to like to talk to people who have some maybe shared experiences with me, who understand like the situation from a little bit different perspective than maybe like most of the people that I meet, and that's why I was really looking forward to it. And also, like of course, being kind of cut off from some communication just on the basis of like being from some country, it may not be like the best thing to experience, but it's totally understandable thing in this context. As I said, I do not have any like negative sentiments whatsoever towards Ukrainian people who right now may just not want to communicate with me and with Russian people as much. Yeah, the war is not only happening in Ukraine, like on the battlefields, just in the cities of Ukraine. The thing is, like nowadays, I'm sure you understand that, but like a big war is happening in terms of like information, the information that people are getting, and this is a very popular sentiment now. And I'm not like coming up with something new here, but like I feel like especially for people who are not from these places, like for American people, I'm addressing you right now. As soon as you settle and as soon as you accept a point of view and you stop questioning it, unfortunately you become a casualty of this informational war. And I just don't want you to be that. So question everything you read, and try to not to settle for what they tell you. Because the propaganda works everywhere. It works in Russia, it works here. And it's very important to maintain this human element in yourselves, this humanity, and question everything. And also a very important thing, like as a Russian person, I want you to know that not all Russians support the war. Yes, this is a very important sentence that I want to say. Not all Russians support war. I, for one, do not. And I really want Americans to understand that Russia, despite all the information you might get, there are a lot of Russians that I know personally, that are my friends. There are even people that I rarely talk to, but they do not support the war, and they will speak up just as the same way as I'm doing now. And so America should embrace the Russians who are either brave enough to stand up to that, or who just do not support that, and who are ready to admit it. I feel like this is a good thing to do.
Thank you for talking to us, Anton. Thank you for telling your story.
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. As I said, this means a lot to me to be able to speak about this and tell the truth without any fear, and actually saying what's on my mind. So it's a great opportunity. Thank you, everyone behind the camera.